Have you ever faced rejection so crushing that it felt as though the world had turned its back on you? It's a feeling we've all experienced at some point in our lives. A job application turned down, a love interest unreciprocated, a friend group that didn't quite accept us. Rejection, in its many forms, is a universal experience. And yet, despite its commonality, it can sting with a unique intensity every single time. Rejection is more than just an unpleasant experience. It's a deeply personal one, often invoking feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. It's a blow to our self-esteem, making us question our worth and capabilities. It's a harsh whisper in our ear, telling us that we are not enough. But let's delve deeper. I remember when I was a teenager, I auditioned for the school play. I was confident, excited, and full of dreams. The day the cast list was posted, I rushed to the notice board, eager to see my name, but it wasn't there. I felt as if someone had sucked all the air out of the room. I was devastated. I felt worthless. I felt rejected. That's the power of rejection. It can make you feel isolated, like you're standing alone in a crowded room. It can make you feel invisible, like you're shouting into a void. It can make you feel unloved, like you're a puzzle piece that just doesn't fit. Rejection can impact our mental health significantly. It can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. It can cause us to withdraw from the world, to build walls around ourselves. It can make us afraid to try again, to take risks, to dream big. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, does rejection define us? Does it determine our worth? Does it dictate our future? The answer is no. Rejection is a part of life, but it is not the sum total of our existence. Rejection can often feel like the end of the world, but is it really? Scene script, consider the story of Joseph, a man who faced rejection in its rawest form. Joseph, the favorite son of Jacob, was not held in high regard by his 11 brothers. In fact, their envy was so intense that they plotted to get rid of him. Driven by jealousy and anger, they sold Joseph into slavery, a shocking act of rejection by his own flesh and blood. As a slave in Potiphar's house, Joseph experienced another form of rejection. Despite his loyalty and hard work, he was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and was thrown into prison. Here was a man who, despite his best efforts to lead a virtuous life, found himself rejected and discarded time and time again. But the story of Joseph is not one of perpetual despair. Even in the midst of rejection, Joseph held on to his faith. He believed in a greater plan and purpose, a belief that carried him through the darkest of times. He was eventually released from prison and rose to a position of immense power and influence, becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt. The tale of Joseph serves as a testament to the fact that rejection is not a novel human experience. It has been around since the biblical times, an age-old struggle that each one of us at some point has to face. But more importantly, Joseph's story shows us that rejection does not define us. It is not a measure of our worth or a prediction of our future. Joseph was rejected by his brothers, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and forgotten by those he helped. Yet he rose above it all, not allowing the rejection to control his fate. Joseph's life is a beacon of hope and resilience, reminding us that we too can rise above the hardships and rejections we face. His story prompts us to question, to reflect, and to learn. Despite his trials, Joseph rose above his circumstances. How did he manage that? Rejection doesn't just hurt emotionally, it can also take a toll on our mental health. When we face rejection, it's more than just a fleeting sting. It's a deep wound that affects our psyche, often leading to a cascade of negative effects. Consider depression, a mental health disorder characterized by persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest in activities. Research indicates that rejection can exacerbate or even trigger depressive symptoms. It's like a dark cloud that looms over your head, making everything seem bleak and joyless. And the more you dwell on the rejection, the heavier that cloud becomes. Then there's anxiety, a constant nagging worry that eats away at your peace of mind. Rejection can fuel this anxiety, making you constantly second-guess yourself. You start to question your worth, your abilities, even your very identity. It's as if you're walking on a tightrope, always teetering on the edge of a precipice, with the fear of rejection lurking below. And let's not forget about low self-esteem. When you're rejected, it's easy to internalize that rejection and view it as a reflection of your worth. You start to see yourself through the lens of that rejection, and your self-esteem plummets. It's like looking at yourself in a distorted mirror where all your flaws are magnified and your strengths are minimized. The psychological studies and statistics back this up. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, rejection can lead to a significant decrease in self-esteem. Another study found that individuals who had experienced rejection were more likely to exhibit depressive symptoms. But here's the thing. While these effects are real and can be quite debilitating, it's crucial to remember that they are not permanent. They are not a life sentence. And most importantly, they are not a reflection of your worth or your potential. Rejection can indeed be damaging, but it doesn't have to define us. It's a setback, not a verdict. It's a temporary stumble, not a permanent fall. And as we'll discuss in the next scene, there are ways to deal with rejection and emerge stronger on the other side. So how do we cope when we face rejection? How do we bounce back? Well, let's dive into some practical tips and strategies. First and foremost, lean on your support system. This could be family, friends, or a trusted mentor. Don't be afraid to open up about your feelings. Sharing your experience can help you process the situation and gain new perspectives. Remember, it's okay to lean on others when you're feeling down. Next, practice self-care. This might sound cliché, but it's crucial. Following a rejection, it's easy to neglect your own well-being, but this is precisely when you need to take care of yourself the most. Eat healthily, get regular exercise, and make sure you're getting enough sleep. And don't forget to engage in activities that you enjoy and that lift your spirits. Now, let's talk about reframing negative thoughts. It's natural to feel disappointed and to question your worth following a rejection. But remember, everyone experiences rejection at some point. It doesn't define your worth or your potential. Try to reframe your thoughts by focusing on what you can learn from the experience. Ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? What can this experience teach me? Speaking of learning, remember to maintain a growth mindset. This means viewing challenges and setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than as failures. It's about understanding that you can improve and develop through effort and learning. Finally, don't let rejection stop you from trying again. It's important to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. You might need to take a different approach, but don't give up on your goals. In the grand scheme of things, rejection is just a moment in time. It can sting, yes, but it's not a life sentence. It's a hurdle, a bump in the road. It's not the end of your journey. Rejection is not the end, but merely a stepping stone to greater things. So take that step and keep moving forward. Let's revisit Joseph's story. How did he overcome his trials and thrive despite the rejection? In the face of adversity, Joseph leaned heavily on his faith. He believed in a higher purpose, a divine plan that was greater than his immediate circumstances. This faith was his anchor in the storm of rejection, grounding him and giving him hope when it seemed like all was lost. It's easy to crumble under the weight of rejection, but Joseph stood firm, fueled by his unwavering faith. Perseverance was another key factor in Joseph's journey. He didn't just survive, he thrived even in the harshest conditions. He was sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned, yet he rose from a slave to a trusted servant, from a prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt. This didn't happen overnight. It was a long, grueling process. But Joseph's persistent spirit, his refusal to give up or give in, that's what turned the tide in his favor. And then there's Joseph's positive mindset. Rejection can often lead us down a path of negativity, but Joseph chose a different route. He chose to see the silver lining. He chose to focus on the good, on the opportunities that lay hidden beneath the surface of his struggles. He chose positivity over pity, optimism over despair. His life wasn't easy, far from it. But Joseph's story serves as a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit, to the resilience that lies within each of us. It's a reminder that rejection is not the end. It's a detour, a temporary setback on the journey to success. This is not just Joseph's way. It's a path available to each and every one of us. a path of faith, perseverance, and positivity. A path that leads to triumph over rejection. Embrace these qualities, practice them in your own life, and watch as you too rise above your trials. Just like Joseph, you too can rise above rejection and thrive. Rejection can be hard to deal with, but remember, it doesn't define your worth. Just like Joseph in the Bible, we all face rejection at some point in our lives. But it's important to understand that rejection doesn't mean the end of the road. It's simply a detour or a stepping stone towards something greater and better. We've explored how rejection can impact our mental health, causing feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. However, we've also highlighted the various ways we can overcome these challenges. By maintaining a positive mindset, seeking support, and most importantly, not letting rejection define us, we can rise above it and continue to thrive. Everyone has a unique story to tell about dealing with rejection. We encourage you to share yours. Your experiences could inspire someone else going through a tough time. Please share this video with anyone who might need it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.